Hello, late. I think I wanna pass out, but things have to be done. So there's many things I need to accomplish today, but I just feel tired, exhausted because many things to do and it kind of don't have much time to do anything. But I still have to keep going, so I can have a nap today. Actually, it's recently time. I have many napping time. It cannot, I don't have many things to do, but because I am already start my new course, they are kind of a little bit busy and hectic, and there also much of excitement from the tutor. So I want to share you one of my excitement today. It is talking about mapping. When we are talking, we are have a map that can help us to prepare ourselves what kind of story we want to tell to our audience. So it's very important when we discuss or have a conversation or preach about some topic into the large audience. We have a map, a mapping minds. I don't. Is it the true word? Mapping mind. I don't know. But okay, this is what I already wrote today in the class. Okay, probably you want to see it closer. It's about actually, we have a free topic. There are nothing specific what we want to talk about, but I think I want to talk something more more general, but I have an idea that probably I thought less general. I thought more specific about something. So the first time I write about Indonesia, but Indonesia is very wide. Probably we talk about when I talk about Indonesia, we talk about the regional and about politics and about social issue in Indonesians and many things, but it's very big country and much thing to talk about Indonesia. Then I discuss. Then I decide that I want to talk about less specific is about the ancestor of Indonesia, where the Indonesian people come from. There are of course many theories about it, and I don't say that I'm very expert about these kind of topics, but I am little bit familiar about this topic because recent months ago I read some book by Yuval Noah Harari, and the other author is Carl Sagan. It's a book about the history of humankind. There are two books. First is about sapiens, and then about guns, germs, and steel. It's very interesting book. I think it's very important. They are from this philosophy in our era, at 21st century. I think they are two of them is considered one of the best of people when describe about the anthropology, where the humans being come from, when it come to history and something that related in this kind of topic. I think they are they have many reliable resources, but there are difference when it come to the resource for the writing. I think there are difference between these two authors. I think Carl Sagan more experienced in the fields. So besides an author, he also a researcher and also anthropologist, and he have an experience live in Papua New Guinea, whether in this place they are very this place very have much influence to the author about the story that he told us in her his book. And Yuval Noah Harari, I think a little bit different. I don't see he is as an adventurous person who have any big research, but I think this guy is very smart. He read a lot of books, so he gather his resources from so many books and many theories from others. So when he talk about our ancestor, and he relates in human history and also about social and politic condition in the first and various era, we can see it as a big picture, and it's something that new idea, and it's very great and it's very worth reading, I can say. Okay, and then back to my topic. When I talk about Indonesia, so the mapping map is very simple. It's about 5W plus 1H. I think you know it. 5W is about what, it's a who, where, when, why, and then 1H it means how. So basically, this is kind of a thing we read or we listen regularly when we learn about journalism, or make stories and all. But I think it's very important to recall this kind of memory, and then to realize that mapping is very important when it comes to speaking about an idea. So here's the ancestor of Indonesia about what. First thing, I want to explain about what the Indonesian is and what an ancestor are. I think it is kind of hard to explain about what is ancestor. Ancestor are people from the past that are very influenced for who we are today. It's kind of our descendants from the past that their habits make a huge not a huge difference, but make a huge influence for our norm, our culture, our social life today. And then also influence in our DNA about how our skin colors and our shape of our hair, and the color of our eggs bowl and all is they are very have a huge influence to our lives today. And then what is Indonesia? Indonesian, of course, we know is a country. It come from a word that Indo-Inesus, I think it's Greek words. It means the islands of India, because at the time it is very the word is very influenced by colonists. They when it come to probably they don't know much about Eastern civilization, because it's very far away. So when they come to understanding about the Eastern people, they generalize these people as Indian. So when it come to Indians, at this time also happen not only about when Indonesian is, of course, it's very different from Indian, but they say it's as islands of India, but also about people in the States and native people in the America, they also say it as Indian because because misconceptions about our history, and still we use until today this misconception. And then actually, I want to say that the ancestor of Indonesia, a country full of wonders, splendid, and beauty. A kind of long words for title of topic, but I think it's okay because it sounds terrific. It sounds nice to hear, but Indonesia, we because I'm in Indonesia, so it's okay, I think, to a little bit have a thoughts about other country. So about, of course, when we talk about wonder, splendid, and beauty, it's very is opinion, so it's very different between one person and another person. And of course, for people for another country, they will say that their country is the most beautiful and the more have more culture and biodiversity and peace, and people so lovely and nice and something like that. And I think it's okay. But then we have this about Indonesia also belongs to many islands. Indonesia have many islands. The bigs are Borneo, Celebes, Sulawesi, Sumatra or Andalas, and the Java, and the Papua or Irian Jaya. They are about full of culture and tradition in Indonesia. I think I don't want to talk about this very much because it will become very long. And then also to notice that Indonesia is archipelago islands. So there are so many islands, more than 17,000 islands in Indonesia. Not the most the most islands in the world, but obviously it's kind of a huge number for a country to have the 17 islands. Then also who is considered live in Indonesia. There are many people. There are very diverse culture in Indonesia. There are, like, in Borneo there are Dayak people, and also in Japanese they belong to Java, and Sundanese and Batawi live in the Java, and then Asmat live in Papua, and Batak and Melayu and Minang live in the North Sumatra. And also there are foreign people from in Indonesia. They're very influence and make an influence in Indonesian culture and daily life. There are also much of Chinese Indonesia. There are some Indians, and also Western people will live in Indonesia, or whether they stay in Indonesia for vacation or for a job, or even though they already become Indonesian citizen. And then, where is Indonesia? Indonesian have strategic position because it lay between two oceans and two continents, Asia and Australia, and India Oceans and Pacific Oceans. But Indonesia not in the mainlands in Asia. So Indonesia basically is not in continents of Asia, but Indonesia in this region. So at this moment, when we consider Indonesia, where is Indonesia? But we say that Indonesia in Asia belong to Asia, but not as a continent, but as regions of Indonesia. And then our question is, when these people of ancestor of Indonesia, when this ancestor of Indonesia, so I think it's Indonesian become when it come to where we also talking about Indonesia come from the south, and then Indonesia become a fossil place for people from the south to from the north to the south. So basically, our ancestor come from China. Then they're going to the south to the Philippines, and then to Borneo, and then from the Borneo they come to Java, and then Sumatra, and then another east side of Indonesia like Papua, and even though these people reach into Australia and New Zealand. So basically, historically, our people is come from the mainland China today. And then when they going to Indonesia like I sort of come from 1,000 years ago, and then after that, it's kind of Proto Melayu, and there's New Melayu, and the older one it comes 1,000 years ago, and then 1,000 years ago, and then why? It's very many theories about why, but I think it's obviously talk about our not our one, but not suspicious, but what you say, our eager to conquer new lands, to have much food and things are like that. I think basically for a better future, why there's people from the north, from the mainland Asia, from the Chinese, going to Indonesia, and our ancestors going from that far north into our Indonesian as we know today, because at this time probably because they need food, and because they want to conquer new place, because at this moment Indonesia is still a virgin land. There's not many people, and they have much food and a forest, and they're a great place to live. Then they from the north going to the south, to the Indonesian, because they can't going to far north anymore, because the weather very harsh. They are very cold. They live in the Russians. It's very close to the North Pole, and very cold, and people at the time don't have many technology, and they are very hard to live there, and they are just decide to go into the south and in the tropical area, because they are it's more easy to live. There are many animals to hunt, many plants to fruits and vegetables, and mushroom together to fulfill their daily life. And then how they reach Indonesia, I think it's very common, very best known theory about this. At this moment, Indonesian not as separate as islands as we know today, but they are one mainland in China, and China and Philippines and Malaysia peninsula. And then because of there's only one lane at this area, so easy for people to going there. But beside the this western part of Indonesia, there in eastern part they have You know what? Streets. They are a straight, a little streets that people use a shape. At the moment, of course, a very traditional shape, but they it's considered a very advanced at that time because it happens 1,000 years ago. So people from the western part of Indonesia, they use a cannon, a very simple ship. They going to the eastern, so they are conquer islands of Papua and Melanesia, and then they also conquer a part of Australia and New Zealand, and that is how our ancestor come from in Indonesia. Our Indonesian our ancestor ancestor come from mainland China to Indonesia. Thank you very much. Oh, it's 25 minutes. Of course, when I talk in the class, I don't have a time of 22 minutes to talking, but I think it's only around 3 minutes or probably less, I guess, because there are many people there. So we need to share time with other people to talk about this topic. But it's okay. I think it's very challenging for me to talk about it because a lot of things to talk about the very less time. It kind of what I experienced today. A lot of things to do, but I don't have many time. But it's okay. Probably I need to decide what's the big picture I want to talking about, so people can understand what I am saying. Because some people really because I don't have much vocabulary and base pronunciation to talk this language in English, because I still learning. But I hope that people become understand what I am saying. So there not only there's not only I'm practicing the language, but they also got something new to learn about. And of course, when I listen to them, there are many knowledge that I can acquire. Not acquire is a choice of word, but there are many knowledge I can get from what they talking the topic they're talking about. But I don't know what kind of topic they will talk in the class today. Probably I have this one beside me. I know he talk about a field dream and Hajj in Mecca. I don't know what kind of a thing he want to talk about, but it's very interesting topic. We know it's everyday life about Hajj, and we know it's only happen once in a year. It annually annual events, but probably he have something very interesting to offer. So I am very eager to listen what he will say in the class today. And for you still listen what I'm saying today, and I want to thank you very much to stay way, and you don't feel boring, and you still listen what I am saying, because easy, spend almost 25 minutes listen someone stranger talk about absolutely not. It's very interesting topic, but the way I talk about it may become less interesting. But I want to say thank you very much, and probably I want to start another job, because it's kind of a job too to make this kind of video, because I want to make a consistent, so I can learn this thing better, and I hope it become better every day when I talk about the language. Thank you very much.